there's other things that we can do, and we'll get into those here with the bloodless surgery end of it. Bloodless surgery. How'd you like to learn how to do a heart bypass? Amen. How about brain tumor? How about an appendectomy? What would you do in an emergency situation? You're in a survival situation. You're back here in the woods, and you've got a real problem. What would you do? Appendicitis. Most herbalists don't know anything about what to do for appendicitis. But we can take care of appendicitis very rapidly. All we do is take the ironing board, lay it on the sofa on one end, the other end on the floor, put a pillow down there, and put the person on their stomach on the ironing board. We don't iron them. And then we take an ice pack and put it right over the appendix. Now, everybody here knows that anything that is cold will get smaller, won't it? When it gets smaller, the appendix gets smaller, the toxins that are inside that are causing the inflammation will come out. Now, if you're standing up, they'll go right back in when you warm up again. But since you're on a slant like this and you're there for 20 minutes, enough of those toxins will come out, and you do this every day for a week. That will get rid of the appendicitis, and I'm not guessing. We've done it many times by people that were in the hospital who called and said, Brother Morton, what should I do? I'm in the hospital, appendicitis. I said, I'm not going to tell you what to do. They put the jailhouse on top of me if I tell you what to do. But I'll tell you what I would do. So then I tell them what I would do, and then they go do it. And what's that? Head down. Yeah, head down, laying on their stomach. Time them. Don't let them go to sleep. If they lay there for an hour or two, they won't be able to get up. And the reason is because so many toxins will come out of the appendix. It's so nauseating, they'll just be throwing up all over the place. 20 minutes. Yeah, now let's talk about glass. Let's say that you have an accident in a car through a window or anything, and you've got glass ground into your face. How in the world are you going to get it out? I always take pine pitch. Now, the brother here just mentioned cayenne. I can't tell him that no because I don't have any personal experience with it. Come up here and tell me about the cayenne. Come on up here. You'll have to speak in my left ear. Here's where the mic is. He told me this the other day, and I've never done it, so I don't want to repeat it.
Well, during the Civil War and World War I, if anybody had ever gotten wounded in the battlefield and stuff, they always had cayenne pepper with them. And what cayenne pepper is it just immediately cauterizes everything. It naturally burns because it's hot, but it will cauterize anything that's bleeding. You can put it on as a local. It's out of here.
But does it pull a glass out? That's what I want.
No, you use duct tape for that.
Oh. Oh, I'll stick with the pine pitch, thank you. Duct tape. Oh. Duct tape. Yeah, well, that would work.
It also gets rid of warts.
Yeah, but here's the problem with the duct tape. The duct tape would be fine for the glass that's out here, but I don't think it would pull it out if it was down in deep, would it? No. So what the pine pitch will do, it will pull anything. I don't care if it's a needle. I don't care if it's a big old wood splinter. If it's glass, if there's something in there that shouldn't be in there, the pine pitch will pull it right out through the skin. Pine trees. Just go up to the tree and cut it. Just put a slit in the side and come back the next day and you'll have some pine pitch there. Or you can buy it. So these are just some of the things I'm telling you about that you can use. One time I had this was at Groveland when I was the head of the Groveland Health Department there, and got a call, and I didn't know who this person was, and said, my husband is scheduled to get his feet cut off tomorrow, and I don't want him to have his feet cut off, and he's got sugar diabetes, and can you help him? And I said, well, bring him over. So here they came, and of course, all the management that were the board and so forth, they always get excited when somebody comes like that, and they figure like we're going to get sued, which is a real possibility. But here he came, big black man. He weighed about, I don't know how much, he was a big guy. Handsome fellow, Baptist minister. How interesting. Comes in, his feet looked like hamburger. I could see why they were going to cut them off. They looked terrible. And so I says, well, get some potatoes and blend up the potatoes and pour them in a garbage bag and put his feet in the garbage bag and squish this stuff up around his feet for 20 minutes. Got done, threw that away, waited for an hour, did it again. We did that every hour and did it for about 20 minutes. The next day, his ankles were about like that. His ankles were down to normal. Still looked like hamburger, though. We changed his diet. Skin grew back. And when he woke up, he was drugged when he came in. They brought him straight out of the hospital. Brought him over there, and he was kind of groggy, you know. And I didn't know what was coming next. It was wonderful. I said to him, what was your last meal at the hospital? He says, pork chops. Well, one of the things that causes sugar diabetes, friends, is oil. It's not sugar. Excess oil, fats, that's what causes sugar diabetes. And then he was very upset. I thought he'd be happy. He wasn't. His family was happy. Oh, I said, what's his problem? They said, this is an Adventist institution. He's a Baptist minister. I said, yeah, so what? Well, he was raised an Adventist. So, hey, that was an interesting one we had. Now we had a case. Let's talk about not surgery. Let's say that you have someone who is in terrible, terrible pain. The worst pain of all, cancer pain, and the worst place of all, the pancreas. It's a horrible, horrible, horrible pain. And they put all kinds of drugs in them, and they're all groggy. They don't even know what they're doing half the time. I'm going to show you a way that you can take that pain out within 60 seconds. No pain at all. They're totally conscious. It's not going to cure the cancer, this particular thing, but it will take the pain out. And once you take that pain out, you've got their confidence. You can do just about anything then. All you do is take a grapefruit. Blend up a grapefruit. Peel it. Don't put the peel in there. Just blend it up, seeds and all. Put it in a pan and heat it in a saucepan. Don't use aluminum. Stainless steel's all right. And then put like a half a cup of Epsom salt in there. Take that, mix it all up, let it simmer for about 20 minutes. Put it in a what I call a chair pad or an under pad. I cut them in half. You don't have to do this, but if you can't just pour it on there, you could, it would work, but how are you going to get it off? So by taking the chair pad, cutting it in half, you will have a way to get it off, because it'll be plastic on one side to protect the bedclothes. The other side will be kind of a gauze. Just pour it inside of that and lay that on there. You can't get out of the room before you'll hear, pain's gone. That fast. Not very scientific. Prove all things. Hold fast that which is good. When you get that person out of pain, they'll tell you it was good. Gallbladder, kidneys, heart. I don't have a lot of time left, so I'm going to get the heart in there. I have a bad heart. Had it ever since I was a child. Never thought I'd live to be 72. Thought I'd be dead before I was 50. Had angina all my life. Didn't know what was wrong. Drank coffee as a child. All these things. Then I found out later that I can't have coffee. Coffee hurts my heart. I have a brother who runs marathons, 26-mile marathons. He's 62 years old. He's still running them. He takes coffee, he'll pass out in a marathon. And so this week I've been having angina because I got into some coffee, didn't know it. I was taking a post of them that had coffee flavor. I thought it was just a coffee flavor. When the angina showed up, I knew what that flavor was made out of, because I've been having angina all week until about 2 days ago. And I finally figured out what was wrong with me. But about 3 years ago, I felt like I was dying. I was losing all my energy, couldn't do anything, and I'm doing everything for the heart. Vitamin E, 800 international units a day. CoQ10, 200 units a day, and it worked. All this stuff has been working for years. I've been taking the hawthorn berries and doing everything that I could that was right, and all of a sudden I just started collapsing down. And I said, what am I not doing that I could be doing? And the one thing that I had never done was to take desiccated heart. Now, how many people here know what desiccated heart is? Desiccated heart is dried heart. Raw, dried heart. And I had been told that they had scientifically proven that if you take organ meat, and I know Adventists, vegetarians and all that, but I'm telling you what I did. It was a desperate situation. And they take an organ meat and they put a radioisotope on it and they feed that to a mouse. If that is liver, raw liver, they can trace it right to the liver. If it is pancreas, it's right to the pancreas. If it's brain, it's straight to the brain. If it's heart, it's straight to the heart. So I went to the health food store. I said, I want some liver, and I want it from Argentina. I want range-fed, no chemicals. They said, we'll get it. They got it right away. Within a week, that's the only change I made. I was back, and I've been on it ever since. And if I don't do it, I have problems. My wife, we for years have been trying to find out what is wrong with her. They told her that just recently, they said, you don't have a pancreas. When did you have a pancreas out? She says, I never had an operation in my life. They said, well, you don't have a pancreas. So now we're trying to grow a pancreas in her. I feel if they can give a baboon's heart to baby Faye, why, we can do it one cell at a time. Now, we can't open you up and put a new heart in there or anything like that, but we can do it one cell at a time, and I know that it works. Kidney. If you have kidney stones, what do you do for it? There are certain herbs that you can get in any health food store to dissolve them. You don't, cabbage juice. I'll tell you what cabbage juice does. I had a daughter one time that called me up and she says, Dad, she said, I got to have an operation. Will you pay for it? I said, well, I will if you'll try. What's wrong? I got ulcers. I was a young kid with ulcers. And I said, well, what kind? Duodenal. I said, okay. I said, I'll pay for it if 1 week from today you still have ulcers. I said, but if you don't have ulcers, then I'm off the hook, right? She laughed. Oh, yeah. I said, well, she said, what do you want me to do now? I said, I want you to drink raw cabbage juice. And she called me back. She said, Dad, this stuff's so bad, I'd rather have the operation. She couldn't stand it. I said, okay, mix it half and half with carrot juice. That'll help you gag it down. She did. A week later, she goes in for the operation. She didn't have any ulcers.